Good morning. Good morning, Erm. How's it going? Good. Okay. We'll give everyone until 10:10 before we start. Good morning, guys. We're going to give everyone another minute or two to join.
This is the first time we're using Zoom, isn't it?
We used Zoom last week.
Oh, did we? I didn't even pay attention. It just said it was taking me to Zoom, and I was like, wait a minute. I thought it was WebEx.
I prefer Zoom to WebEx because they have a few more features, like breakout rooms, and the whiteboard is easier to use. And so I prefer them to WebEx, even though the school is paying for WebEx. So that means that the class has to be capped at 40 minutes, but for you guys, that's not a problem. The class is normally like 50 minutes, so we just end a little early, and I'm able to Zoom, which is also the thing I really like about it from an instructor point of view is that it allows me to save the video directly to my computer and it'll process right away. Whereas with WebEx videos, it sometimes takes 24 hours before you can download recording, which
I'm trying to get my video to work. I'm trying to find for some reason it's not working.
Okay. Well, while you figure that out, guys, if you want to put your name in the chat, just so when I save the chat, I have a record of attendance, that would be wonderful. So type your name, put it in the chat. Thank you, Erm. Okay. And while you guys do that, I'm gonna jump over to Canvas briefly. Okay. Good morning, good morning. Okay, so let us look at our Canvas file. So we are already in week 3. How crazy is that, right? Week 3. So before class, I wanted you guys to complete this pre-class 3 task, which was to follow this presentation and download Zotero. And we'll talk about that in just a minute or two. Here we are in week 3. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to follow along with the PowerPoint. We're going to be learning about Zotero and then where to find papers. So where to find primary sources and how to cite them using a citation management software. So for you guys just joining us, make sure you put your name in the chat so I have it when I download the video. They like stick together in the file. And then we're going to take the class 3 attendance quiz. So if you open up Canvas, you go to class 3 agenda, you click on class 3 attendance quiz, and the question I would like for you to answer is, what did you eat for breakfast this morning? Please tell me what you ate. Hopefully it was something and not nothing. I had honey bunches of oats this morning with coffee, and now I'm having a latte, so even more caffeine. You could tell me what you ate for breakfast. I'm going to switch over to the PowerPoint. So again, make sure you put your name in the chat and then you take that little attendance quiz. I've got 5,000 things open here, so. Here, okay. Okay, so our learning objectives for today's class are going to be to utilize Zotero to manage citations and build a reference page, and then to find full-length articles on Google Scholar, PubMed, and other UNCP library resources, and compare and contrast primary research articles with press articles and review articles. And we will do that by first practicing with Zotero, and then I'll show you around Google Scholar and PubMed, which are my preferred resources for finding papers. So there are several things called a citation management software. So if you want to just put in the chat if you've ever used a citation management software and what you have used in the past. If anyone has used one before. Anyone? No. So citation management softwares, I think, are some of the coolest softwares out there. I might be biased. I discovered them when I was actually, unfortunately, midway through writing my thesis. So if you go and get your PhD, you have to write what amounts to a small book about all of the things you did for years and years and years. And I was about halfway through writing my small book when one of my friends was like, you have to try this software. It'll manage your references for you. And so what that means is it will put in the in-text citations where you want them to go. And if you edit your document and move around different paragraphs, it'll reformat it automatically. And then it will also, at the very end of your document, put in a reference page, again, all formatted correctly for you. So you don't have to spend your time alphabetizing things and going back and forth looking at style guides, making sure your references are correctly formatted. It'll just do that. And several of them exist. The most common and the most popular is something called EndNote, but EndNote you have to pay for. Now, when I was in graduate school, my graduate school paid for an EndNote license for all of its students. UNCP does not do that because you guys are undergrads. So we're instead going to use a free one called Zotero. So hopefully before class you were able to download the Zotero application and the Chrome extension and register for the software. So what we're going to start with is first we're going to, sorry, you know, I always move a little slowly in these rooms. It's, you know, it's fun. It's just a fun time. Okay, I'm going to go back and share my Google, and we're going to watch a video. Okay, so this is going to show you how to insert the software. Now, if you guys in the chat could tell me what kind of device you have for a laptop, if it's a PC or a Mac, that will help me figure out how complicated we have to be. Mac. Oh, we've got some fun Mac people. Oh, more fun Mac people. Everyone has a Mac? Okay. Wow, that's never happened to me before. A whole group of Mac people. Okay, well, then we're all going to be in this together. Okay. So let's first watch this video about how to use Zotero. Okay. He has a funny accent and it's a little boring, but I think it's useful. Oh, sorry. Sorry. There we go.
For example, let's say we'll write a sentence. This is and what I want to do is now insert a citation here. So at the top on the ribbons, you should see a ribbon called Zotero. And you'll see the options here. Basically, if you want to insert a citation, you simply click Add /edit citation. And what will happen is, because this will be the first citation in the document, the Zotero style window will now open. Basically, what it's doing is asking you for the document preferences. So what reference style do you want to use? So I'm just going to select the American Psychological Association 6th edition as an example. Click OK. And now the Zotero citation bar will now open. So what I'm going to do is just give you an example. Search for one of my own papers. As soon as you type in real time, the results will appear underneath from your library. And simply add a citation, you just click one of these. You can search the name, the author, the year. Simply I'll add this one. And if you want to add multiple ones, simply you press the space and you can search for another paper. And so on and so forth. And to insert this citation in the text, you simply click the Enter key.
Bam.
You'll see now that the citation has now been inserted.
Okay. So it's pretty straightforward in terms of use. We're going to come back and show you how to use them. Okay, I'm going to come back and show you how to use them once we've talked a little bit about papers. So hopefully everyone was able before class to download the application and the extension. But before we use Zotero, we first have to find things to cite, right? And so I want to talk to you guys about researching sources, and we'll come back to what you have been using. But these are some things that I think you should consider using for finding papers. The first being PubMed. PubMed, I'll show you in a little bit, is a specialized service by the National Institute of Medicine, National Institute of Health, that curates biomedical journals. You can also use Google Scholar, which is Google's version. And then there are the databases by the library. So the Web of Science, JSTOR, Academic Search Elite, all of that the library subscribes to and are good resources for you. Now, what you want to do when you're finding papers, you want to save the PDF and then immediately download that citation into Zotero so that you have it. Now, when we're talking about papers, we have 2 or 3 major types of articles. The first is going to be a primary research article, and this is a report on original research. So you want to look for a peer-reviewed journal, and what you should see is a methods and a results section, because these are describing experiments that they themselves as a lab group conducted, and they're publishing their results. So they were looking at maybe depression, and so they took a bunch of mice, they tried different antidepressant drugs, they measured the effects. They're going to have a method section where they tell you what they did, a results section where they tell you what they found. If you see methods and you see graphs, you should really think primary research article. If, however, they are just summarizing what a bunch of other groups have found recently, that's a review article. They're not going to have a method section because their method, they didn't conduct any experiments themselves. They may have some pretty pictures and stuff, but you're not going to see as many graphs, again, because they're summarizing it. Now, sometimes they will helpfully put the word review in the title so you know that this is a review article, but they don't always do that, and so you got to pay attention to that. The last article, and this is the one that we're not going to use for this class, are press articles. And these are written by journalists in media or news organizations, and they report on scientific findings. So after you publish an article in a paper, in a journal, the academic journal sends out press releases to all sorts of media organizations summarizing the key findings of your paper. They take your whole paper and they put it down into about a paragraph that is in a format that's easily understood by what we call a lay audience, which is a general public. Now, what the media does with that little blurb is sometimes funny. So they'll talk about how, for example, chocolate can make you live longer. New paper came out. When you look at the paper, maybe it is studying cacao powder in mice. Well, really chocolate? Is it really helping humans live longer? There's that disconnect there. So whenever you see a press article, you want to go back and try and find that primary research article so you can read it for yourself. So now I'm going to show you how to find some articles in Google Scholar and PubMed, how to save that citation in Zotero, and how to insert it into a Word document. So if we go back to Google Chrome, okay. The first one I want to show you is Google Scholar. It's just at scholar.google.com. I'll put it in the chat for everyone so you can just click on it. Oh, well, that just saved the .com. Okay, here we go. I'm learning. We got this. Okay, so you can just click on it right away. So Google Scholar takes everything. It is like the Google, it's the internet. So if we want to type in Alzheimer's, this is what I studied for my PhD, it's what I'm interested in, it's going to give you over 1 million results. There is no possible way that you could read all of the articles that Google Scholar gives you about a topic. There's just no way. So we have a few options for filters here. We could put it to maybe more recent articles. Okay, now we're down to a very comfortable 129,000, but it's still a lot, okay? If you use Google Scholar and you click on, let's say, microglia in Alzheimer's disease, and it loads very slowly, okay? So if you've downloaded the Zotero Chrome extension and you're doing this search in Chrome, which I am, you should have a little button, a little extension button off to the side. Now, if you don't see it right here, mine looks like a little PDF. If you click on the thing that looks like a puzzle piece that's extensions, you should have Zotero in the drop-down menu. And what you're going to do is you're going to click on Zotero once it loads here. Click on Zotero, and it says you want to save this to your library. It can give you the full text PDF. You can click snapshot. You're going to click on the second arrow to say where in the library you want to save it. And then you're going to, my chat is in the way, and then you're going to click the done button. And now you've saved that citation along with the PDF to your Zotero application. And so now next time you want to cite it, it's already there. Now let's look at the difference between Google Scholar and PubMed. So PubMed, again, I'm going to put this in the chat for you guys so you can click on the link more easily. PubMed is put out by the National Library of Medicine. It's part of the National Center for Biotechnology Information, which is a part of the National Institute of Health. So what this means is your tax dollars pay for this website, and it is more of a streamlined, it's more focused on biomedical literature as opposed to every single thing in the internet. And I think that while it might be limiting, is actually beneficial and helps you focus your attention more. So if we type into PubMed, we type Alzheimer's, instead of, well, hold on, I first have my filters up. So we're going to get rid of some of the filters that I have already selected here. Okay, so what you'll see is that just the word Alzheimer's by itself, since the first article was published in 1913, we have 171,000 articles. A lot less than we have on Google, but I would argue that's a good thing. So we can do some more filters here. We can make it by year, so maybe we don't want to read since 1913, we want to read since 2016. Okay, so it's going to refresh. Now we're down to 52,000. Maybe we want to have the full text. So this is something I almost always click on because when I'm reading an article, I want to actually be able to read the whole article as opposed to just the abstract. So I'm going to click free full text. And this will then give you some different article types. And this will become important for your assignment when you're going to be looking for reviews as a specific type. But it's got some other fun ones I want to talk about. So it has books. So if you published a textbook on it, it will be on PubMed. It has clinical trial data, which, you know, personally, I always think is really interesting. Clinical trials are going to be run on humans. That's always some interesting data that we can find. Meta-analysis, this is where they take the raw data from a bunch of different primary research articles and they reanalyze all of that primary data together. So say a bunch of different groups tested a drug on a group of people and they want to look at the total effect of that drug, they can take all of that data and put it together and do their own statistics on it. A randomized control trial is usually similar to a clinical trial, but again, you're testing something and they're put into different groups randomly. Usually these are double blind, which means that no one knows what group is which. A review article, this is again what we're looking for, that summary of a bunch of research. And then a systematic review is more systematic. So there's usually criteria associated with what kinds of recent findings that they're going to summarize. Is it all findings published in the US that used mice? A much more rigorous or contained review as opposed to just anything published about this big topic. You can also set it published within the recent years, for example. And then there have additional filters. So you can look at bibliographies, case reports. You can look at things from articles, clinical conference articles. You can look at things that have been funded by the NIH, things that have been funded just by the US government briefly, technical reports, things that have looked at twins, webcast, like 5 billion things that you can look at. Okay. So I would recommend you use PubMed. I think, again, the different filters are going to be better. But this is for biomedical. So if you're interested in things that have nothing to do with medicine, things like ecology or other branches of science, then PubMed is obviously not going to be the best choice for you to use. So I'm now going to show you in my Word document. Actually, I'm going to switch to my desktop here. Okay, so if I switch over to my Word document here, if you remember from the video, the way that their Word showed up is there was a tab here that said Zotero. Now, when I downloaded Zotero, that did not happen for me. And so I had to do some weird things to try to get what this is right here is a toolbar. So this is my Zotero toolbar. So if I write about microglia are important in Alzheimer's disease and I want to cite that, I'm going to click on the first button in this toolbar, and what's going to pop up is the Zotero. And the first time you open a document, you have to pick your citation style. For this class, I would like you guys to click on Nature. And so we're going to click OK, and it's going to pop up the whole toolbar. And we're going to click on, if you click on this paper, you can then see the whole article. I think that's really cool. The PDF will pop up. But again, if we're in here and we add the citation, the Zotero tool did show up in Word View. Okay, good. So some people it shows up. I have a very old computer and it did not show up. So I'm going to type in microglia, and I'm going to click that, and I'm going to click enter. And then what should happen is the number 1 appears. So I've inserted that citation. Now I'm going to finish doing my document, and I'm going to add a reference page at the end. So I'm going to click insert bibliography, and bam, it is a correctly formatted reference. And again, this is going to say, if you're writing a big paper, this is going to save you so much time. So much time. So that is going to be your assignment and what you're going to spend time working on. Give me 1 second here. Week 3. So your Zotero practice, what I want you guys to do is to select a topic from this list: depression and DNA methylation, microbiome diversity and resistance to infection, pH and coral bleaching, soil pH and secondary succession, COVID transmission rates, and mass, whichever you're most interested in. And I want you to find 2 primary research articles. Again, they have results and methods sections, and 1 review article. And I want you to input them into your Zotero. And then I want you to get a Word document and write a 2 to 3 sentence summary about each paper with an in-text citation in the style of Nature, and then add that bibliography to the end of your paper, and you're going to submit that to Canvas. That's your task for the week. So for you guys who are here, was everyone able to download Zotero? Yes. Okay. I want you guys to try and do this right now. Try to add Zotero to Word, and I'm going to hang out and see if you guys have any computer issues. If you don't have computer issues and you're able to have that Zotero pop up, like Kylie said, in her toolbar for Word, and you kind of know what you're doing, you're free to go and work on this assignment because it might take you a little while. I'm asking you to do a lot of reading. Okay. The other thing I want you to keep in mind is that you have a few other assignments for the week. So not only am I asking you to do that Zotero practice, but I'm asking you to watch a video about how, I don't have a Zotero tool, it didn't show up. Okay, Raquel, I'll get with you in 1 second. We're gonna have some computer fun. For everyone else, I want you guys to do that Zotero practice, to watch a video about how to read, summarize, and analyze scientific literature. And then there's an article that I want you to read and then submit a summary and an analysis for. And next week in class, what we're gonna do is we're gonna have an article discussion. And so that will mean that everyone will have to be present with their videos on. I know people don't like turning their video on, and I'm going to randomly call on you to talk about the different sections of the paper. So you might have to talk about the abstract, the introduction, the methods, the first figure, the second figure, the conclusion, the discussion, etc. So you want to be prepared. Is it due today? No, the Zotero practice is due on Sunday. That way, if you have real computer trouble, it gives me enough time for you to call IT and have them help you. But I will try my best, Raquel, to help you. I'll show you what I did. Does anyone else have any other questions? Haley, Kylie, you good? Okay. No. So if you have it working on your computer, Kylie, you said it was working for you, you are free to go and work on that. Raquel, I will see if I can help show you how to do this. Haley, you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Aoife, you good? Have a good day, Aaron.
Thank you.
You good, Aoife? It works on your computer?
Yes.
Okay. Raquel, it's just you and me. We're going to figure this out. Okay. Let me see if I can find how I did it, which is always like.
I think I missed a step because I downloaded and then you said something about restart.
Yeah.
I'm using Safari. Do I have to use Google Chrome?
Have to use Chrome.
So that's what I did wrong.
Okay. That's our first step.
Okay. So do I have to open Google Chrome? Okay. Okay, I'm waiting for it to open. My computer is slow.
Are you doing okay, Raquel? I know you wanted to join the online group now. Is it working out for you?
Yes, I saw the news about NC State closing, about the 500 students getting the virus, and I was like, no. And you are the only professor that I'm taking like 5 classes, and you are the only one giving the option to lecture online. I have a zoology class and he's lecturing online also, but his labs are face-to-face. Yeah, so I still have to go to campus, but I'm like doing all my best not to.
Yeah, it's hard to do. Honestly, it's hard to make labs online. So I get that.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
At least with lectures, it's easier to talk to your computer.
Okay, my Google Chrome is open.
Okay, do you want to share your screen with me and I can see if I can help you out?
Because my Zoom is on my iPad and I have my computer here. Let me show you.
Yeah.
From here.
Flip it around. Let's see. Okay. Yes. So at the top toolbar, you see that little puzzle piece next to your first initial? If you click on that puzzle piece, you should, so you didn't download the Chrome extension. That's what that's telling me. Because where it's Proctorio, there would be something under it that says Zotero. So let me find the website and I'll put it in the chat for you.
Okay.
Okay. You need going to download this. If you click on that, you should be able to download it. So once you download it, where that puzzle piece is, you should have a little button that looks like a PDF, like a little document.
Okay.
And click on that, it'll save the citation to Zotero. And then when you open Word, you should have that little Zotero thing in the toolbar, and you should be able to then do it from there.
Okay, so I have to use Google Chrome for all that.
You have to use Google Chrome to open, to like find the article and put the article
Okay.
into Zotero. And
Okay.
then you open up Word, and when you type your sentence, when you open up Word, then on Word you should be able to put your citation in for that article you found on the internet.
Okay,
Does that
now
make
I get
sense?
it. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
That should work, right?
It should work. If you have issues, email
Okay.
me and
Okay.
we'll set up a time and I can help you figure it out.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for your help.
So enjoy your Friday.
You too. Bye.
Bye.